What up, community? A Theory of Nothing channel here. Scott coming to you with a new Mandela twist on an old subject. The Wizard of Odds. Yes, odds. Because it is so odd now with some of these ME changes that have taken place within this movie that it, some make sense and some just don't. Yesterday in my feed, in my news feeds for YouTube, a video popped up, and it was an old video from 2 years ago about Scarecrow has a revolver, Mandela Effect. And in this feed, the only reason it caught my attention was because it appeared like there was out of the corner of the video, it appeared like there was a silver goose, looking type of thing, just right in the corner of the video between the Scarecrow and the Tinman, and it seemed like really, really odd. I wasn't sure what it was because it's hard to make out in the little clip until you play a video on my phone. So I was like, well, that's kind of odd. So I went ahead and played the video to try to see what that was. And the instant the video loaded up, and it's right when they're walking into the dark forest to go after the witch. They just met with the wizard, and by the way, now, the wizard he's Brainiac. He has a gigantic alien shape, like the Roswell alien shaped head, and he's green, but he has this giant balloon head, and he looks like the Brainiac character, or whatever the hell that character's name is. That's got the gigantic. Gigantic brain. They did it in the Marvel movies with the Hulk, when one guy gets stuff drips into his head, and all of a sudden his brain starts swelling up, and he turns greenish because of the gamma poisoning. Anyway, so that was before they get to Dark Forest. So we got Balloon Head Wizard telling him he's not gonna give them their powers. They have to go defeat the witch. Next scene, they're walking into the forest, which is when this video starts. This video starts when they're walking into the forest. And you can see the revolver. Then you can see the Tin Man, and he's got an axe. And he is also holding a 4-foot-long pipe wrench. Now, that's not the only oddity. The lion, who was not only carrying a gigantic butterfly net, human-sized gigantic butterfly net, is also now carrying what appeared in this video, and again I'm watching on my phone, but it appeared that he's also carrying a giant strongman mallet like you use at the county fairs. So the wrench stuck out to me like a sore thumb. This mallet sticks out to me like a sore thumb. Obviously the revolver does, and then the Scarecrow's also carrying like a stick or a staff. So it doesn't make sense. If the Scarecrow has a revolver, why does he need a stick? Why does he need a staff? I mean, he's got a 6-shot or an 8-shot revolver, and then he wouldn't even need the stick. It'd be pointless to carry both of those weapons. And then Dorothy ain't carrying any weapons whatsoever. She's still got her little kitchen picnic basket with the Tin Man's oil in there, I guess in case he stiffens up again. But yeah, she has no weapons other than that. And then Toto, obviously, he's just running around. He's just a little dog. So they get into the forest. The Tin Man gets lifted up by some mysterious force. They don't know what it is yet. Drops him on the ground, and he drops the axe, and he drops the pipe wrench. Then all of a sudden, all the other characters drop their items. The Scarecrow and the lion, right? They drop the net, they drop the gun, they drop the stick, they drop the what appeared to be a mallet on the ground, and they go over to help the Tin Man up to see if he's okay. So when that happens, then it flashes over to the witch, who tells her monkeys, she's released the monkeys to go after him, and she tells them, fly, 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 instead of fly my pretties, which we already know because that's an older Mandela Effect. So then the monkeys get there, they start distracting everyone. At this point, the Tin Man had only picked the axe back up. No other weapons were picked back up again. and these flying monkeys come down there and they start tearing apart the straw man, the Scarecrow, and the lion. They're bugging his hair, and he goes running off in behind a tree, and the Tin Man is getting distracted, so he can't even swing the axe. And also Dorothy and Toto get scooped up and taken back to the witch. Well, in the next scene, when after the Scarecrow and the lion, or after the lion and the Tin Man put together the Scarecrow again, they go after Dorothy after the witch. And of course, the only weapon that is still seen at this point now is the axe, which is what the Tin Man was originally found with. Well, I saw this, and I was going to post a video on my way home yesterday when I first saw that, but I wanted to rewatch it again on a larger format on my computer or on the TV, just to confirm these things and make sure that it wasn't something digitally enhanced or just my eyes playing tricks on me. Got home, picked up my wife. We had some errands to run around. We were doing our food delivery for the night. And we were talking about Mandela effects and different things like that, like we usually do. And I asked her about the Wizard of Oz. And I said, you remember the weird, and there's been several things like the Fly My Pretty statement. And then I said, you remember, though, the really weird one with the Scarecrow? She's like, oh, you mean that he's got the revolver now? And I said, yeah, that one. She goes, okay, yeah, what about it? And I was like, what is the lion carrying, and what is the Tin Man carrying? She goes, well, the Tin Man, I know he's carrying an axe. And the lion, I think he's carrying a net. And I said, okay. You're wrong, but okay. She's like, what do you mean I'm wrong? I'm like, well, that's what they were carrying. That's not what they're carrying anymore. I said, pull out your phone and look at one of the old, go to the YouTube and search for Scarecrow revolver Mandela effect, because I wanted her to see that specific scene, because there's several Mandela effects out there for a Wizard of Oz, but I wanted her to see that very specific scene. So she goes in there, and the instant the scene pops up and they first come into the forest, because that's where it starts. It starts right when they enter the forest. She sees a revolver, and then she's like, what the hell? Why is the Tin Man carrying a wrench? And I said, I don't know. It makes no sense to me either. And I'm laughing. I was just literally, I was busting a gut. I was laughing so hard about it. Because for me, it was, it's funny. The Mandela is funny. But at the same time, it was giving me some credence that I wasn't, again, losing my mind, with my wife and I being in this together. And then she pointed out about the lion looking like he's got a giant rubber mallet. And then, again, we're looking at these things on our phone. She's like, why is he carrying a giant rubber mallet? That doesn't make any sense. I was like, oh, it's Pop the Weasel. Smack the witch over the head and put the net on her head. Because, again, we're thinking it's a mallet. She's like, well, that just doesn't make sense. So she started tripping out about it. She's like, we're pulling out the DVD and we're going to watch it tonight when we get home. And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then we kind of moved on to other things. And we got home. She scoured for the video, which she just watched it a couple weeks ago, but all of a sudden the video is now like in the back of the video case and upside down and buried beneath other stuff, which made no sense to her. But she finds the video. Excuse me. She pulls out the video, and we put it in to watch it. Now, I'm specifically looking for that situation with the Scarecrow when they're in the dark forest. But 30 seconds into the movie, when Dorothy and Toto are running from the woman who's the Wicked Witch, which is the person who's on the bike that wants to take Toto out and have him euthanized, I stopped the video. It's Toto sitting up on a ledge, and Dorothy's calling him, and I stopped the video. Because, again, I just got, like, Mandela slapped in the face. Toto is not Toto. The dog looks completely different. He is, and of course, this part of the video is still in black and white. Even though they've recolorized the back end, this portion is still black and white. So, Toto is dark, which we don't know what color he is at this point, but his hair is not a long, beautiful coat anymore. It is a grungy, mangy mess. Still a terrier breed. It's still the same terrier breed, but his hair looks completely disheveled and completely messy, like someone threw him in a bucket of water 5 minutes before filming and just dried him off with a towel and left him. Like they didn't bother to comb out his coat. So I was like, that is not Toto. My wife started laughing. She's like, I just noticed that too, but I didn't want to say nothing. And I was like, that is not Toto. So I went on the internet and I scoured looking for Toto. And of course there's tons of videos of the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy with the new Toto. But even going back to not the Manchester Mint, but whatever that thing is that always does all the historical plates and all that stuff. So they do the artistic paintings on all these plates, and it's based off of film videos and everything else. Well, guess what? Toto is not Toto. He's brown, brown and gold, dark brown, like almost a black and gold color terrier, long, beautiful hair, like long, beautiful straight hair. And this is like an authentic, classic, collectible piece from the movie history, right? And then there's all these other photos of people that have done sketches of the Toto. There's different contests where they have photos of Totos that have been entered into contests that are all long hair straight terriers, different colors, but all long hair straight terriers. And Monopoly, the terrier in Monopoly is long hair. Now, some of you will probably say, "Oh no, he's a Schnauzer," but the original one, it was just a long-haired terrier. And it was based on the film A Wizard of Oz. So anyways, yeah, the dog is different. Well, then we're going through, and then she goes off, and they get into their fights, and she runs away from home, and she runs into the wizard in Kansas before he's the wizard, right? So he's just a magician, a sideshow magician, and he's also a psychic, so he's got the little hat turban he puts on his head, and he gets a photo of Dorothy and her aunt on the farm. Well, guess what? Her clothes are different. My wife picked up on it, and I picked up on it a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a huge one for me. It wasn't a huge, like, strike home Mandela, but it was a Mandela that the Auntie M is no longer wearing an apron in the photo. Well, that's a big thing for Auntie M. Like, if you go through every Auntie M costume, everything for Auntie M out there with Wizard of Oz, Auntie M is wearing an apron. She works on a farm. That is her thing. She's always got an apron on. So, anyways, didn't have one in that photo. So then we flash forward, and they go through some other things, and then the Lollipop Gang is no longer the Lollipop Gang, and now it's the Lollipop Guild, which our oldest son argued with me. Oh, it's always been the Lollipop Guild. No, it was the Lollipop Gang. We are the Lollipop Gang, the Lollipop Gang, the Lollipop Gang. And now it's the Lollipop Guild. So that's completely different. Then they get to the Wizard of Oz. They fall asleep in the poppy fields. Then they wake up, and when they do, it's all of a sudden they get to the wizard. They go through the whole thing with the horse changing color and all the horses that are different colors, the color of a different horse. They're all different horses, obviously, so they had to use different horses that they dyed their coats on. And they're all different style horses, and they get up there, and then they go through and they talk to the wizard. Well, when they first meet the wizard, and he's the glowing orb with the fire and all that kind of stuff, he is no longer just this green, distorted wizard guy that has a turban on his head, or whatever he had in the original video, which I'm pretty sure he looked like the genie, right? That's what I remember. The wizard looked like a genie with his head, and he had the turban on. Well, now he doesn't have a turban. Now he looks like Brainiac from Marvel. He's a giant green alien head that's a big bulb-shaped head. Looks like, like the Roswell aliens, but green. It's hilarious. My wife didn't even notice it at first until I pointed it out to her, and then all of a sudden it struck her, and she's like, you're right, that is different. Because she just remembers him having something on his head. She couldn't remember what, so she didn't strike her hard. I said, no, he looks like a fucking alien now. He's a giant green alien that's invaded Oz. Oh, so that one's a Mandela Effect. So then we go past that, we get to the forest thing, and as soon as they walk into the forest, of course you see the Scarecrow with the gun, and he's holding a staff, and then you see the lion with the net, and it looks like he's holding a hammer, and then you see the Scarecrow with his axe, or the Tin Man with the axe, and guess what? He's got a 4-foot-long silver pipe wrench in his hand. Or chromed pipe wrench. Tin pipe wrench. Well, then they zoom in on the characters, and of course the mallet that we thought was the mallet that the lion was carrying is not a mallet at all. It's a giant bug sprayer. Like one of the old ones where you have the pump action, and it's got the big drum on the front end that you fill with the poison, and a little nozzle, and you pump it, and it shoots the poison, the bug poison into the air. And on the very side of it, it says witch repellent. So now it makes even less sense, because I'm like, okay, no reason to have a stick when you have a gun as a Scarecrow. The gun totally looks fake, like it's just a molded piece of plastic. There's no slots for bullets. The cartridge doesn't pull back for the hammer. The barrel doesn't even have a hole in the end of it. It just looks like a solid piece of molded plastic, piece of crap. Which I don't know why they wanted to use a real revolver back then for a prop. Friggin' Hollywood, for Christ's sake. But, and then the lion having the net would make sense, because he could use both hands to try to catch the witch. But not only is it now not a mallet that he could have swung with one hand, it's a frickin' pump action bug sprayer that you need two hands to spray. So how the hell is he going to spray and then use the net to catch her? Then, again, it makes no sense why the Tin Man would even have a giant pipe wrench at all. He's got an axe. Why the hell would you need to carry a pipe wrench that you would need, if it was real, 4-foot-long pipe wrenches? It's over 100 pounds. You would need two goddamn hands to swing that thing. An average person. So, anyways, Tin Man gets lifted up, gets dropped on the ground. He drops that. The Scarecrow and the lion drop their weapons to go see if he's okay. They help him up. Queen releases the flying monkeys. Of course, as the old phrase goes, it's now fly, 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 instead of fly, my pretties, fly. Right? So they go after there. They start flying around. They start tearing up the Scarecrow. The lion runs off because he's a scaredy cat, and the Tin Man is trying to get him with the axe, but they're all flying around him and distracting him. They scoop up Dorothy and Toto and take her back to the witch. Well, at no time during the rest of the movie does the Tin Man have any weapon at all, or any of the characters have any weapon except for that axe. Like, the Tin Man only ever has the axe. None of the other weapons are there. Oh, jeez. So, then there's another Mandela for me when they actually defeat the witch and they get back to the wizard, and he then explains to them how he can't give them what they already have. But he doesn't say it that way. He just says that he cannot grant them what their desire is. You know, doctors and that, they don't have any more brains than you do, Scarecrow. All they have that separates them from you is a diploma to prove that they have brains, that they have smarts. So here's a diploma. And then he explains to the Tin Man, he goes, I can't give you a heart, because you're being a mechanic. He goes, but the only difference between you and a regular human is just to have the feeling of heart and emotions and that. So here he gives him the little heart watch. And then for the lion, he tells him, he can't give him courage. Courage is not something that you even need to have. It's within. And, but what he can give him is a medal. So anyways, he goes through all that stuff. And then for Dorothy, he says, well, the only way I can get you home is to take you there myself. So that's the plan. Then I fell asleep. So there might have been more Emmys at the end of that movie. I don't know. The main ones I wanted to get across to everyone and get your opinions on, though, were Toto, Wizard of Oz looking like a Brainiac now. Giant green Brainiac alien. The witch repellent gigantic bug spray that the lion's carrying. And then the Tin Man now carrying a giant pipe wrench. So anyways, like, subscribe, click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and comment below. Please pass on my video to other people in the Emmy community. Drop a link to it to any of their sections if you're going to do a comment. Like, on all the other ones like that are out there. Awaken Brave Channel, Scare Performance, Moneybags, all those guys. Do me a big solid and go on to all their videos, drop in a comment and drop in a link for my video onto their channel so that they can look at it, because I really want to draw the community in together. That's kind of what I started off with my first video. That's why I created this channel. And I'm going to do these off videos, especially when Emmys are so strong like this one for me. But please comment in the section below, everybody. I want to know if any of these or all of these are Emmys for you and what they mean. My wife doesn't know what they mean, but she's like, oh, there's got to be a deeper meaning to it. There's got to be a deeper meaning to it. And for me, I think that there can be. I think that some of the deeper meaning could be, well, one, let's talk about the gigantic pipe wrench for a minute. That is the Mandela Effect itself, right? All these changes that are happening out there that have gone on in this world are, to us awakened and aware, they're pipe wrenches. Like the old saying, you throw a pipe wrench into the mix. That basically means if the wheels in the cog are turning and a pipe wrench gets dropped into there, it can break up the cogs, right? It can stop the machine from working. That's what's happening in essence with the Mandela Effect. A gigantic ass pipe wrench has been dropped into our world and is mixing everything up and causing all of us who are awakened and aware to go, well, what? The bug sprayer, the witch repellent. Well, look up into the clouds. And this goes to the ME brothers as well as you conspiracy brothers out there in all levels. We're being chemically sprayed. Now, some are saying it's government doing it. There are videos of all that and planes of all that, and yes, a lot of that. And then there's other things that are saying they've seen like alienish type pods that are up there that all of a sudden are spraying and there's no jet in front of it, or it's a stealth jet or something like that. But the bottom line is our atmosphere is still being sprayed. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this lately, but now that we're in, now it's in November 2018, the sun has gone from white, a bright hot white, to more of a yellow tone lately within this last month or two that I've noticed it. And they've been spraying a lot more lately, which could be changing our atmosphere, causing the sun to appear yellow again. But I think that that's what that bug sprayer is about. I think it's relevant to the atmosphere spraying. Chemtrails. The revolver. This is a big one, and it's been going back for a couple of years now. Well, going back for a couple of years, the Democrats, with all these hashtag Me Too movements and stuff that have been popping up. And again, women's rights, I'm all about women's rights and all that kind of stuff, but this crazy business with transgenderism and transhumanism, and you can't call a man a woman or a woman a man because they could get offended and you could be incarcerated in Canada for doing such. And Europe is getting on board with that, and the U.S. is trying to pass that, and the whole world is mixed up when it comes to that. In line with that movement is the lefts, the Democrats, pushing hard for gun control reform. All these shootings that are taking place all over the world, mostly specifically here in the U.S., are all what? What's the one thing that these medias, these Dems, and all these idiots are touting it as being? Yeah, it's a crazed mass shooter. He's killing hundreds of people, or they're killing hundreds of people in these nonsensical mass shootings, and they're all being performed with fully semi-automatic weapons. Almost every gun on this planet that has been made since the 1800s is a semi-automatic weapon. There is no such thing as a fully semi-automatic. They're either fully automatic, like a traditional M16 that the military uses, or an AK-47, or an Uzi, or any number of guns, or they have a pin lock mechanism that only allows them to fire, load one bullet into the chamber, and draw the pin back at a time. and then you got to let off the trigger and then re-squeeze it. There's safety mechanisms built into it. You know, fully automatic, you just squeeze the trigger and it'll constantly pin fire, pin fire, pin fire, pin fire as it reloads the bullets. A semi-automatic is as fast as you can squeeze the trigger. Now, almost all guns nowadays, whether they're a revolver, whether they are a rifle, or whether they are a clip magazine gun, are all semi-automatics, and they're all quote-unquote fully semi-automatic because there is no such thing as a full-eye semi-automatic. The fully is just a made-up term. Fully semi-automatic is a made-up term by the Democrats. So if they pass this new legislation which they're tying into this Me Too stuff, the human rights stuff, and all that kind of stuff, and I think they're doing it as an addendum to that, because I heard that Pelosi or whatever the hell her name is talking about it now. She's confident she's going to get moved to the Senate leadership. And that's the first thing she's going to do is go after this rights movement thing that's going on and gun control, stricter gun control. Well, they want to get to the point where they remove guns altogether. They want to take away your ability to defend yourself, to hunt for yourself, to do anything. If they go back to that, there's going to be two types of guns that we can own. A shotgun. You got to draw the hammer down on the barrel to allow the bullet to clear, allow a new bullet to reload, and the pin to go back. Or like a 22 bolt action, any kind of 30-06 or anything that's got a bolt action on there, where you got to pull the bolt back to clear the chamber. Or even an old Winchester, where you got to cock the hammer down to release a bullet, pull the hammer back, and load a new bullet in the chamber. And those, most of those guns are only 3 rounds without extensions on them, maybe 5 rounds at most. Or we're going to go way back to the 1800s, where we got the old ball and gunpowder, and it's a one-off shot, right? That's going to be the only guns that they want us to own. So, I don't want to make this video about my political views and agendas or anything like that, because I don't really have any agendas. My political views on guns are, look, when we, as what are now called Americans, came over from the European countries and settled America and took the land from the Indians, we established individualism and retracted ourselves from those people that actually came over and stole the land, the first ones that came over and stole the land, which was England's rule. We pulled ourselves away from that, reestablished a new constitution, reestablishing the rights of all naturalized American citizens. And the Second Amendment right is the right to bear arms, and it does not classify or specify a restriction on arm. What is classified as an arm, whether that be a knife, a firearm, and then the type of firearm it is. So we have all that going on, and what's going on here is, again, spraying chemicals, probably relevant to dumbing us down, the monkey wrench into all the things to make us aware, and the gun to go after gun control. Anyways, let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my opinion about this, because again, it's just a theory of nothing, right? It's my theory that, based on my observations of what's going on in this world, that I can draw a relation to, with this video specifically speaking to me. So I'll see if I can try to somehow merge these two videos together and then link in the other videos so you guys can see it. If not, I'll just put links in the description to other people's videos that you can go and look at yourself. Anyways, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let me know your comments in the videos, and please pass and share my video along with others. I'll talk to you later.